won't stop till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following newly released video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a newly released video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, I said, what's wrong with it?
Improper way with it.
There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it.
To profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Dad, you can record for what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I'm about to do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 to 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check, mic check.
This is West Wednesday, number 464. We are calling for justice for all victims of police violence. Mic check, mic check.
Mic
check.
Mic
Mic
check.
check. Thank you, brother Ben, for that. And we miss seeing your face and hearing your voice, so it's good to see you, with us. Any old way, just going into, like my brother said, this is West Wednesday, 464 weeks. This is day 3,248. So for a very long time, we have been fighting for accountability, not just for my big brother Tyrone West, but literally for all the victims of police terrorism and murder. And tonight, and I'm sorry, I apologize because we're on later than what we would normally start at 6:30. But I was actually waiting for our special guest, Alton Sterling's auntie Vita. She was supposed to have been joining us, and something like she works. She's a hard working woman, so she probably was caught up at work because I remember a while back we were supposed to have her on, and she got stuck at work because her job just like literally calls for her. So definitely want to lift up Alton Sterling. Yesterday was Alton Sterling's birthday. He should have been here. And I just hate the fact that we have to say heavenly birthday. Like he should be on earth celebrating with his family. And in case you guys don't know who Alton Sterling was, Alton Sterling pretty much was a human being first and foremost. He was a human being, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. The only thing that he was doing wrong was being black in America. That's just the reality of it. And literally on July the 5th, 2016, while outside of a store that he always be outside selling his little CDs or whatever, minding his business. Doesn't matter what he was doing. He was minding his business on July the 5th, 2016, minding his own business, literally in front of a store that he always let. The owner of the store, what knew Alton, everybody around in that community knew Alton, knew he was a loving soul, and he was executed. And I don't even want to tell you the police version of why they executed him. It was a lie, all lies. Nothing never was proven. But for you to be actually executed, gunned down like an animal, is heartbreaking. And I just kind of, wanted to lift up, Alton Sterling's memory name. And I was, looking at Miss Vita's page all yesterday, and she went down there, to his grave site and, did the little balloon type of thing. But it's heartbreaking. Like, our loved ones need to be here. And it's just sad and it's very disgusting. And the whole thing, to me, it just all boils down to racism, period, bottom line. Because if you look at our murder rate right now in the city, mostly brown and black folks are being executed every day. It's like a Holocaust. Let's be crystal clear. And it's not just a Baltimore thing, because it's going on in Philadelphia. It's going on all around the world. And it's just sad and disgusting. They protect who they want to protect. And meanwhile, other people are just dying, getting murdered, and it's just sad and heartbreaking. And it's bad that we have to remember our loved ones just by our final memories or good thoughts and memories when they should be here making memories with us. And I know how devastating the month of July is for my family. And the fact that July was, it seemed like something about the month of July when you hear that. And let's tune in, and I pray to God that, my theory is not right, but like each year in the month of July, that's when the police murder gets beyond ridiculous. And they do like beyond, like, I don't know what it is about July. I really have no idea. But if you think back, Sandra Bland was murdered in July. It was a lot of folks killed that made national news. And unfortunately, my brother Tyrone West didn't make national news. But it's said, I don't care if he didn't make national news or just the regular news. The fact that he shouldn't even have been on the news. If anything, he should have been on the news. We should have been lifting my brother up. He should have been here with his children. By now, he should have had his art gallery going on. He was an artist. He was a father. But meanwhile, before I go into my brother, I want to talk about Alton Sterling. It was a human being that was murdered. In the fact, let me tell you how corrupt the system is, because they could not get the store owner to go along with their narrative. They did all type of stuff to that poor store owner that had Alton Sterling's back. They did so much horrible things. You know, their retaliation is real. They are a legalized gang. Let's be crystal clear, a legalized gang. You know, it's just sad and disgusting. And I just heard about, you know, an officer in our city, a black officer that was murdered in the county. And then I heard the white, like commissioner or top cop from that county or whatever. And he was speaking and he's trying to blame everything on Marilyn Mosby. Let's be crystal clear. This has nothing, as much as I talk about things that she should be doing the correct way, that had nothing to do with his killer. Let's be crystal clear. The officer that was murdered was a black officer, number one. Number two, the person that murdered this officer was a white person. And I was like just so shook up when I heard the commissioner or a police representative, I don't know his job title, but he get the representative, I'm going to call him, but he got on, he was like, he was throwing shots at Mose. He was trying to go and he was like, yeah, it's her fault. You know, with these lawless crimes, everybody can just do whatever and wreak havoc. And he was like, out of the killer's mouth itself, he had the nerve to say he did it because he can. Let's be clear. I'm going to tell you why he said that. He meant it, and it is because he can. It had nothing to do with Marilyn Mosby and trying to go at low-level crime. First of all, when white people do anything, I'm gonna be, I don't care. This is coming from Tawanda Jones, and I'm being as real and transparent as I can. And I know I have a lot of people watching me, and I want them to watch, and I want them to hear the words that are coming from my mouth. When Caucasian folks kill people, because they are white, they are right. So they always slide through this dirty system. Slide through. They have murderers as I'm speaking now. And they know who I'm talking about. And I'm not just talking about the murderer that murdered the cop. I'm talking about a Caucasian murderer that's breaking the law. Like, I'm talking about relentlessly breaking the law. Breaking the law. He sounds like the person that just killed the cop. And that's why he has this mentality of, oh, I can do this. Because they know the system is going to be there to support them. I don't care if they got a public pretender. I don't care. The law is always going to be lenient when there's a Caucasian killer. Let's be clear. Even when they go to apprehend these killers, these terrorists, they don't do the same type of aggression or anything. It's straight just, hey, guy, they're talking to them nice, trying to talk them down, all type of foolishness. We don't get that. So I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. I'm telling you what it is. And in case you don't believe me, God forbid, wait till it's your turn or one of your family members and see what happens. And you do the comparisons. If Alton Sterling, let's be clear, if he was a Caucasian person, he would not be dead right now. I promise you. If Tyrone West was a Caucasian male, he wouldn't have been beat down. He wouldn't have been beat down and murdered and tased and pepper sprayed and just tortured in broad daylight. If Sandra Bland was a Caucasian woman that was riding with a maniac on her heels that she tried to pull over while she's minding her goddamn business in America. She's pulling over to give him room. Then now she becomes the target, which she probably already was the intended target. And then he's going to tell her she can't smoke in her own vehicle. Are you freaking kidding me? But the way they murdered Alton Sterling, like, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it. The video was horrific. People came out with video phones, just like in my brother's Tyrone West case. There was video footage to this day going on 9 years later we are unable to get our hands on that video footage. They normally, what they do is they'll say, we're doing an active investigation. We can't tell you not, we can't disclose anything to you guys. And I don't care if it's even in a police, when a police murder you, or if your loved ones is murdered. And it depends on who your loved one is murdered by. If your loved one is executed by someone Caucasian, let's be clear, someone Caucasian, then the cover up begins. That's when their little active investigation, that leads to them just covering up. They're setting up, they're dotting every I and crossing every freaking T. It is disgusting. As heinous as our loved ones are executed, the cover up is far worse. And it's not even just our men that are getting murdered at a rapid pace beyond, like, it's women too. They never hardly say the women name. And I always, every time I hear about a woman getting killed by the police, I always think about Sandra Bland, and I always think about Gina's daughter. I always think about India Kager. I always think about them. If India Kager, let's be crystal clear, if she was a Caucasian woman with her baby, her Caucasian children in the backseat of the car, and her Caucasian husband or father of the children were in the car, or what, however, she would not have been executed. And she gave her life for America. Beautiful queen, law-abiding citizen, everything, beautiful to the core. And these brutal murderers, bloody stinking animals, I call them stinking animals. That's exactly what they are, stinking animals. And it really pissed me off when that white guy tried to come up on the news and throw Marilyn Mosley on the bus and say, and he had the nerve, you know what he said? He had the nerve to say that he could do this. You know he could do it, sir. He's white like you. I said, and I wish I knew your damn name, because I'll call you out. I will call you by name, because you know I don't have no cut cards. Okay? I don't have no filter. This is the Tawanda that you will get. Okay? I don't care. Like, it is what it is. You know, when you murder our loved ones, we have every right to be upset. Just like Timothy Flemings. If he was Caucasian, let's be crystal clear, he wouldn't be dead. If Anthony Anderson was Caucasian, he wouldn't be dead. If my sister Kia's brother was Caucasian, he would not be dead. Benjamin would not be dead. He would still be living. They executed him in cold blood, 16 bullets for somebody that's 100 and something pounds. Like, are you free? That's an overkill. But this is what they do to us in America. And I'm really caught up on my feelings on this day, because even though I'm, forced into silence right now, I am forced. I am. It's something personal going on in my life and my family's life that I can't talk about. But I'm going to tell you, whenever I'm able to run my damn mouth, y'all ain't going to be able to shut me up, because this is a dirty system, and they always show their face on a West Wednesday. My cousin Tavon was murdered on a West Wednesday morning, 12:19 a.m., and I had to come up here on a West Wednesday morning. And the day West Wednesday, something is going on that's very interesting. And I can't talk about it. And I want to go completely off about it. But I'm forced into silence. And that's something that I don't live by. I believe in blasting these damn jokers. Blast them. When they kill us, we're put on blast immediately. They start trying to pull up stuff. They're trying to make stuff right and make stuff fit. Blast their asses. Excuse my French. That's how I feel. Immediately, when they do something to your loved ones, put them on blast. Don't listen to these damn attorneys that will send you down a dead end road. Don't listen to no state prosecutors. They all in the bed together. I told you guys this, and I meant it. I said it, and I meant it, and I'm here to represent it. They don't give a damn about us. But I'm sick of everybody trying to, blame us. And it's sad, like, for all the murders that's going on, it's beyond heartbreaking. Like last week, when we came down here, Uncle Bill, I think maybe only had maybe 5 or 7 names. It was real low. And even, I think, our brother, he only had, for the homicide list, our brother Brian,
he literally had me because it wasn't updated. I think he maybe had like 5. But tonight, Uncle Bill has over like I think it's 36 if I'm correct, but it's 30 plus names to read from
That's
the
it.
vote. That's
Yeah,
it. Am I
36.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 36. I thought so. But that is sad and that's disgusting and it's very heartbreaking, but it's real. It's real. And it does not matter what city or state you live in. We cannot escape the skin color no matter where we go. Look at the officer. Look at the officer. Look at the person that murdered the officer that's getting a slap on the wrist, a convicted felon that's going on, and that has nothing to do with Marilyn Mosby. That has something to do with him being Caucasian. Let's be crystal clear. And no, I'm not supporting Marilyn Mosby at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because I still want answers from her. We demand to know what she's going to do with my brother's case because I already know, like it doesn't take a brain scientist to figure it out because she was going to do something. I met with her 2-3 years ago. I ain't even get a phone call back. Not even, I wasn't even respected enough to get a phone call back. Right now, Timothy Fleming's family does not have an autopsy. Timothy was a young man that was murdered a year ago. And as devastating as that is, that the family does not have an autopsy. And guess what? It gets worse. The poor babies, Timothy Fleming's children are still living in that house. And my sister Kia, who her brother Benjamin Tyson got murdered last year, she just got the autopsy and they're trying to lie on that. Like, what are they doing? Like, come on now. Like, when are we going to get it right? When are we going to make them get it right? That's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm tired of talking. I could talk till I'm blue in the face. But right now, we need to do something different. We really need to do something different because apparently it's not working. Like, we are still getting murdered. I don't give, and it's unfortunate that it doesn't even matter who they put behind the office until we change these lynching laws. Guess what? Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. And we've been suffering with this thing for over 400 and something years, plus years, suffering. And we are hating on so much from the time we're in the womb. They hate us and we ain't even do nothing to them, don't know nothing about them. There's just so much going on and so much is in my heart. And I'm sorry that I'm scrambling, but it is what it is. Because enough is enough. Like I said, I'm on here to honor and lift up the name of Alton Sterling, but not just him, because you know that with my extended love for my brother, I lift up all the victims of police brutality and murder and homicides. It's just really sad and disgusting. And again, homicide, because Baltimore, for one, is not that big at all. And it's just like, it's only a door away from your door. I hate to tell you, I hate to scare you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And if we don't get it right, you're only a door or two away from somebody knocking on your door, telling you something devastating or calling your phone, giving you some horrific news. That is heartbreaking. It don't have to be like this. We need to figure out what we need to do, and we just need to do it. Because just trying to, like, I done testified in front of the UN. I done testified to all the commissioners around the world. I done sat down with like lottie-dottie, literally, and everybody. And everybody keeps listening, but nobody's doing a goddamn thing. Everybody keep taking notes and writing reforms. Like, I have to testify tomorrow. Even I have to take my time that I'm not getting paid $1 after I go put my hard-earned time in to working every day. And even though schools is closed down, we're wrapping up, children about to graduate, I still got to get out here and go to work. I still got to go out here and go to work. But again, tomorrow I'll be testifying about reform. Like, it's like, I'm over everything, but I'm not going to stop because I do believe that if we change these laws and get rid of a lot of stuff will change. But it goes further than that. It's like, who you going to hold accountable? You know, you can hold brown and black folks completely to the law and throw them underneath of the jail when they're caught doing something dirty. They ain't even got to do nothing dirty. You'll drag them. And just like I'm sick of Oh my goodness, I cannot stand, just like I can't stand The Rue, I cannot stand Fox 40 Lies. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the stuff that they put out, like, it's horrible. Like, they keep on going after Wes Moore. He's running, he's trying to take Hogan's place. And all they keep saying, they so mad that Oprah Winfrey is backing him up. All they keep saying, they don't have nothing on this man. All these fools keep on saying is he ain't live in Baltimore. He lied about living in, like, what? Are you serious? Did Hogan live here in Baltimore? Did any, like, come on now, get out of here. Like, which governor do you know that actually was born and raised in Baltimore? We barely have mayors that really actually lived in Baltimore. Like, come on now, like, the foolishness. Like, you have nothing to say about an educated man, an educated black man that makes his money honestly. He writes his books, excellent books, does amazing work, and trying to change things. And what are you doing? You throwing salt on his name. He ain't even in office. You're so scared. And I hope he get in office. I really do. I support him. I really do. It's just like sad and disgusting. Like, I mean, they just literally go after people. They find stuff to do. And it's not even just them. It's mostly all media. They find what they want to do to put it out. And my sister called it the television. The television. And it's just sad. It is a television. Like, you hear all these lies, but it's up to us to really take in and really feed in what we want to believe. Just like they made Alton Sterling to be like, oh, he had a gun, he threatened somebody outside of the store, foolishness type of things. And when that officer came to execute him, he was reaching for his gun. Get the F out. Look, yo, like, you can't make this stuff up. They some animals, but yet you execute a man on camera in cold freaking blood. Because you know why? You knew that nothing was going to happen to you. All you have to do is make up a lie and make stuff fit. Make stuff fit. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Think about this: when anybody is murdered and you have so many officers and investigators that come out to the scene, if they have the same report, you should scratch your head and say, something's definitely wrong. Because in reality, let's say 10 of us were all together and we were ready to go and have this amazing brunch, right? We got together, we got our little girlfriends, or we double dating. There's 10 of us. And all of a sudden, some type of commotion happens and somebody unfortunately gets hurt. Guess what? You're going to have 10 different stories. They might be similar, but they're not going to be accurately correct. Like, everybody's not going to say, you know what? There was a black man that had on a black jacket with a stripe on. Oh, that sound like Detective Super. So let me change that, because that's what they try to do. But anyway, but we're all not going to come up with the same amount of details, because I'm going to see something that, for one, I'm traumatized. So I might just remember that the person just hurried up real quick, pulled out a gun. I might say he had on red. He might have had on a navy blue outfit. I know the difference from red and blue. They ain't the same colors, but just so much is going on, I might get the color wrong, but I do know the fact that I saw somebody get shot. You know what I mean? But with the police reports, oh, they're accurate to the T. They're accurate to the T. You know why? Because they make it fit. They make it fit. Just like in my brother's case, he was executed by 17 stinking animals, and all of them had the same report. How interesting is that? Like, in Alton Sterling's case, he was executed, and guess what? The killer cops out there, same report. Sandra Bland, same report. The list goes on. Timothy Fleming, same report. Benjamin Tyson, same report. Like, come on now. Some of these things we should actually look at and do more homework on and figure out how we can shut it down. Like, let's just I don't really know what to do or say, but we know that I know for a fact that it's unfortunately that racism is real, and depending upon what color you are, unfortunately, that's going to be the outcome. These white murderers get away with everything. But a black person, they will throw the book towel. And my brother got 10 years for a crime he didn't even commit. Like being in the wrong house with his homeboy with some weed. And you give my brother 10 years like he killed somebody. And then when he come out, you get him executed. You execute him. You set him up. That's what I feel like they set my brother up. That's what I feel. And ain't nobody going to tell me nothing different. That's what I feel. You know, and it's just sad. I even think about Maurice Donald Johnson, I'm sorry, who was executed right in front of his mom's face. Literally, like, enough's enough. If Maurice was Caucasian, I guarantee you that wouldn't happen. If baby Kevin Cooper was Caucasian, I guarantee you that wouldn't happen. And even if it would have, there would have been stiff penalties. Think about, they said, the most innocent victim when the white woman was actually murdered. When she called and she said she heard some type of prowler or something in her community and she felt threatened and she called 911 and she was like, I hear somebody, you know, I think somebody's committing a crime in my neighborhood. And they immediately sent a black Muslim cop out and somebody else or whatever. And they go and park in the alley and they're taking too long. So she goes, get out of her house, and she goes over and knocks on the cop car. And he said it scared him and he killed her. Which you have no right to take somebody's life. You that scared, go flip a burger. Okay? Go work somewhere else. There's plenty of jobs out here. And I'm not down on the job because as long as you're making money, do your thing. I don't care what you got, do your thing. You know? But the fact that when she was murdered, she was deemed by the media, y'all, the most innocent victim. Now, think about Tamir Rice, a baby, a 12-year-old baby doing the most innocent thing, playing in the playground. And he's executed in broad daylight within 3 seconds. Not 3 minutes, 3 seconds, okay? 3 seconds, murdered. That's the most innocent victim. A baby in a goddamn playground, okay? But because he's black, nothing. They call our babies thugs, all type of stuff. And it's disgusting. Literally, like when Kevin Cooper, another baby, like I talked about last week, you know, that was murdered in front of his mom just for having a mental health crisis because his family members were in a car accident and they were murdered. And he didn't know how to deal with death. Who does? I'm a grown old ass woman. I don't even know how to deal with no death. I'm sorry, I don't know how to deal with it. It's hard. It's heartbreaking. No matter if somebody get murdered, somebody's sick, it's something that I can't deal with. It's too much. But we have to deal with it. You're forced into things that you don't even want to deal with. Like now, with this pandemic going on, we're forced into paying bills. We're forced into paying bills we never seen before with the same money. Like ain't nobody getting no huge pay raises. We might get a few bucks here, a couple dollars there, but ain't nothing to handle this. Like you got some people that actually say, well, damn, can I get some gas or should I feed my family tonight? And just walk to work or whatever. Like it's sad and disgusting. Like people are living in the dark right now. A friend of mine actually called me, and I will not reveal their name, and I'm praying for them. They will actually turn somebody's lights off in a goddamn pandemic. Are you freaking kidding me? In a pandemic, they don't give a damn. And stuff now is beyond outrageous. You can't even be comfortable buying a dozen eggs. Like the money we have is the same, but the bills are not. It's not adding up. I remember going, y'all know, everybody know me. I love my cheesesteaks and fries. And I remember literally I could get 2 cheesesteaks, 2 fries, 2 drinks for $15.99. That was the deal. That was a hookup. Like, yay, I'm on my way. Now for a half a sub, a order of fries, and a can soda is now $15.99 or more. Like you can't make this stuff, and they just study yanking up prices on everything. It ain't even just your food. It's your cable bill. It's your BG&E. It's your water bill. It's everything. Like it's terrible, and we have to deal with all these ills in society, forced into it. And then at the same time, forced to deal with this racism that we never asked for, this racist system that needs to be abolished immediately, like ASAP, gone. Like, I'm like over it. Like, it's just too much. But again, my heart goes out for Alton Sterling that was executed. He should have been here having his birthday right here on earth. And this man is gone. An innocent man. I can't even like look at his pictures, and I can understand too, like his auntie probably was in too much of pain today. Like sometimes you could be like, okay, I'm gonna come on, but she probably somewhere crying her eyes out. Crying her eyes out. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I'm just, if you pray, I want you to pray for this sister queen. If you don't, because everybody's not into religion, and that's fine. Keep her in thought. Auntie Vita could be your auntie. Okay? That could be your auntie. That could be your sister, your mother. Alton Sterling could have been your father, your brother, your friend. Like, how many more Alton Sterlings is it going to be before we say, you know what? We ain't taking it no more. I'm ready for that kind of action. I'm ready for that. I'm going to be honest. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. I'm just going to say it because you try to do things, and I'm not ready for like violence or nothing like that, because that's what's going on in this world right now. Like, it's too much of violence. People are just actually literally taking along. Like, it's so much it's almost like what I always talk about with frogs being in a pot of water. If you pretty much have that pot of water turned all the way up to the maximum, and that frog feels that hot water, they're gonna hop out. They getting up out of there with the quickness. But unfortunately, when you put them in that pot and you turn it down real low, but it starts just steaming up and heating up, apparently they're just gonna die. They're not gonna hop out, they just gonna die. I feel like we them frogs in the pot right now. They just turning up the heat and smoke around us, making us deal with stuff we ain't even mentally ready to deal with. Did you ever think about that? Some things that you are forced into, you're not even mentally ready to deal with because you never dealt with that before. And some hurt and pain, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to take it on the chin. I'm just going to pray about it. It just be so devastating that it overtakes you. And I feel like that's what's happening right now with so many brothers and sisters being murdered I feel like we're living in a Holocaust right now. And we are dying, but at the end of the day, everybody is affected by this, even though they're not, like up front caught up in it because it's not their loved ones, but they are affected by it. Everybody. All races, all sexes, they are affected by it. Unless you are deemed demonic and you're not on our side, you are affected by it. You are affected by it. And I just remember being a little girl and I watching TV, and I would see when they would say send some money over to feed the hungry, and they would show those real skinny babies. It would make me cry. And I'm like, why would they show a baby where you could see their ribs? And I was like, and that made me always want to feed anybody. Like some days I would come home. That's probably why I'm greedy now, because I would come home hungry because I done gave all my lunch. My mother done packed. I done gave it away because I didn't want to see no child. In my mind, I felt like if a child don't eat, oh my God, they're gonna get like that, and they're gonna be real hungry. And I just took that like literally, like, and they were talking about children around the world when you probably talking about children in our own city. And we know that, poverty is in our city, like everywhere. It affects us all. But my whole point is we have to just like literally stick by each other. And it's always like my brother Boom said, and I always love it when he says, we all we got, we all we need. We are all we have. And we are all we need, because lots of time you guys get me through. The West Coalition, let me tell you, my West Coalition family gets me through. I don't care what type of day I'm having. We are a family. So if I'm going through anything, I can actually pull up one of the members personally, one of my family members personally, without putting that weight onto my blood relatives, my blood family, because they so stressed, they going through their own thing, and I might not want to lay that on them. I can actually give them a call. They'll listen to me. We'll cry together. We'll sob together. They might show up at my house with some roses, doing some sweet things, you know. And it's just like, but that goes back to that love that everybody needs. So my thing and my point of saying what I'm saying is, let's just, like I said, send a lot of love. You know, Miss Vita, send her love. Like, love will get us through, and I will keep on trying to call her. And sometimes people don't want to talk when they go through because they don't want to hear that, oh, it's going to get better. Because if they can't see better instantly, instant gratification, they're not trying to hear none of that. Unfortunately, they're not trying to hear any of that. You know, so you got to respect people's space. But just sometimes be a listening ear. You can help out in different ways of being there for someone. Like tonight, Miss Vita is not here, but I'm going to still lift Alta Sterling's name up all night long as we talk about other victims of police brutality. And also, I wanted to talk about another guest that we had on our show, Pastor Harrison. She was on here, and I was telling you about how when she had pretty much had a house fire and things like that, and she grew things, herbs and stuff like that outside in her backyard and healed up her skin beautiful. And she lost her son, you know, Michael, you know, but she was still like, she's a living testimony. But and that's why I do not like getting on Facebook, because every time I get on there, I'm always seeing something said, and it's terrible. But she just lost her baby brother. But even through her hurt and pain, she's still being positive. So she's thinking about all the good stuff that, you know, her and her baby brother shared. And then she was sharing like stuff, you know, that when they were growing up, just remembering the good old days and how he would get mad at her when she was bigger than him or whatever. And, you know, it's just like, but she's a beautiful soul inside and out. And me, as a person that's religious, I've been praying for our sister Queen. And if you don't pray, that's fine. You know, I don't force religion on anyone, but keep her in thoughts. And, you know, just keep everybody in thoughts. Right now, keep Baltimore in thoughts. If you're not from here and you're tuning in, watching West Swansea Facebook, if you're watching us right now, please just, you know, keep us in thought and pray, because so many people dying right here. And one of my brothers, you know, that lives in Philadelphia, he calls Philadelphia Philadelphia. And it's just sad, like, Mrs. Kilmore. It's just sad, like, at what point will we be able to be safe, you know? And it's like, we can point fingers all day long, but remember, when you point a finger at anyone, there's several fingers pointed back at you. So that's not the answer. The answer is trying to, just like Boom said, we all we got, we all we need, trying to figure out things amongst ourselves in a loving, peaceful way, and just bringing it, and just like not holding back, just giving it to them. That's what I mean. Like, but something's got to change, because there's too many people that are dying, and it shows you just how police and all. It shows you that, like, where people ethic and morals are, they don't have them anymore. It's just sad. Like, anytime, like, after the uprising, before Freddie Gray was murdered, our homicide rates were never the way they are now, right? But as soon as Freddie Gray was executed, look at these numbers. And all you hear from the media, it's like they get a thrill. They get a thrill of reporting and running to the scene of somebody. But they wouldn't have that energy if it was their baby laying on that ground. None of them would have that energy. The mayor wouldn't have that energy. The commissioner wouldn't have that energy. You know, all these police representatives, none of them would have that energy if they showed up on the scene, and God forbid, it was one of their loved ones laying on that ground, on that cold ground, or laying in their house dead, or gunned down in their car. They wouldn't have that same energy to be able to report you, we're sorry to say, and we're going to do, like, come on now. Like, I'm just tired of talk. We need actions, and we need good ones. We need loving ones, and we need impactful ones, you know, and that's why I'm at this point. This is a perfect time to demand answers from Marilyn Mosley, because at the end of the day, it is her job. It is her job. Like, one thing is for certain and two things is for sure. That is her job. to make sure she holds people accountable to the law. And that's all people. And the same energy, unfortunately, that they're going after Keith Davis Jr., an innocent man. I believe he's an innocent man, and he has a lot of supporters that believe he's an innocent man. And for him to have been sitting in jail like 7 years almost now, like that is disgusting. But yet, killer cops can walk the beat, murderers can walk the beat, white killers can walk the beat, white killers can be hidden in silence and keep getting a smack on the wrist no matter how long their rap sheet is. They don't look at how long their rap sheet is. They don't call them menace to society. They just keep giving them a slap on the wrist, probation before judgment. I'm going to give you 10, 20 years, and I'm going to throw out and leave like 2 with probation. Like, I'm telling you, when it's my time to talk, everybody getting. Y'all might as well just bleep it out. Like, I'm sorry. And I sound like a hypocrite Christian woman. I'm going off. I'm praying for God to forgive me now. I'm repenting for my sins now, because I'm going off. I'm going off. How dare you treat my family like this? How dare you do this? How dare you do this? But again, I'm going to always lift up my cousin Tavon Anderson. I'm going to always, because he was an innocent man, y'all. He wasn't a street dude. He was known just for the ladies loving him. Gorgeous. Handsome. I don't know if a man could be gorgeous or not, but my cousin was fine. My brother Tyrone named him Billy D. That's how fine he was. Okay, gorgeous. Drop dead. Gorgeous. I don't know if you can call a man that, but he was very handsome, very nice looking. And more than that, he was fighting for his cousin. Tyrone West. Would come out there, would never hardly speak at West Wing. Sometimes he wouldn't even let you see him, but I know he'd park because he'd send me a text message. Hey, cuz, I got my eyes on you. Good? I'm right here if you need anything. Right there on it. And then times when we have the commemoration of my brother's death, sometimes he would speak, sometimes he wouldn't, but he'd be out there. And my cousin gone now. And we supposed to be quiet. But guess what? I hope they watching me. Because I'm watching them. I'm all on y'all. I know what y'all did. Okay? And when my time comes, I'm going off. My family ain't going to be able to stop. Because when they give me the green light, it's going to be all gas. It's going to be all gas. But again, when Caucasian people kill in America, it's fine. Look at that black cop that got killed, and you hear out of the white representative of the police department that goes and try to blame Marilyn Moses and say, you know what this guy said? He said, I did it because I can. Yeah, you know why he said it, sir. You're white like him. You know that's why he said it, and you know that's why they ain't doing nothing. It's called white privilege. White privilege. And sometimes, like, I would never trade the skin I'm in. I'm sorry. Never. But I wish we had black privilege. I ain't even gonna lie. They just see me. But I'm not even a criminal. So I wouldn't be out using, that or whatever to break the law. But if I had black privilege, yeah, my change wouldn't be strange right now. It's just sad, but it is what it is. But we're not going to stop fighting. And again, we're dedicating this to Alton Sterling. Alton Sterling was a human being, handsome man. He was only 37 years old. 37. And to be executed in a cruel way. I hope these killers burn in hell. And it's sad because I've just like a mother that I met who her baby girl, her teenage daughter, was gunned down in Chicago. And she said the most profound thing. And I was on a documentary with my sister. Her name is Natasha. But she said the most profound thing when she said, you know what, sis? Hell is empty. And I'm thinking, like, how is hell empty? She said, because all the demons are running around here on earth. Ain't that the truth? That is the absolute horrible truth. Hell is empty right now because the demons are running around on earth, killing us, killing. It's crazy. I just want to know like what gets in somebody's mind. But again, like I said, the stage has been set. This corrupt system sets the stage. They make the hand, and it's not a reason to go and murder somebody. It's not a reason to go and kill somebody. So I'm not giving nobody no excuse or no pass. Because the same way I get off my butt and I don't break the law and I go ahead and get a job and I don't hate on nobody because of who he or she is, I get them support. You can do the same thing. But again, the stage has been set for us to fail. It's a system. It's not broke. Because to me, a system that is broke, they keep saying, well, the system is broke. Well, it never was properly running because something broke at some point. That means that it was functioning right, and then it just got broke. A toy was like a toy. If I had a doll baby that could talk, then after a while, oh my God, my doll is broke. She's not talking. She's not operating. But before she got broke, she was up and running. No, this system has been a big failure. The system is the damn problem. The people that created this system is the problem. And it's based upon racism, hate, purity, hate, capitalism. The list goes on. And it's just sad that we are out here dying, getting murdered on these streets. But I can go on forever, but I'm not. I'm going to check in with our brother Marcellus, who's still not up to the weather. This is his third week, but this is pure dedication because none of us from the West Coalition, my brother Ben, he's not even here. He's in Canada right now, but he's broadcasting, doing this. He's not getting paid. Uncle Bill's not getting paid. Marcellus is not getting paid. I'm not getting paid, but we're here. The biggest price, like I said, is not about the income, it's about the outcome. We're trying to make sure that we advocate. We're trying to send a strong message to the system that we're not going to tolerate it. We're not going to set in a position and just let you just kill us and we just be over. We're not going to do that. I'm not. Hell no, I'm not going to do that. Not at all. Not at all. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So whatever you want to do, however you're going to do it, do it. But anybody that will know my story, my history, my story, is going to always know that I always stood up for what I believed in. And I believe in human beings. I believe in our people, and I would never trade my race. If I could come back in the next lifetime and be a Black African American queen again, I'm coming back as a Black African American queen. I would never change that. The only thing I would change is the hate. I wish we could just wipe up. We can eliminate hate out of this racist world. Hate, racism, hand in hand, neck and neck. It's an evil combination to death, murder. It's terrible and it's awful. That's all I can say about it. But meanwhile, again, what I was saying was Marcellus is here tonight and he's still not feeling well. So I'm going to check in with our brother Marcellus. I hope that I know you said he was feeling a little bit better. We were talking offline, so I'm glad to, hear that. But again, thank you for your time, your dedication, your love. Definitely appreciate it. And I wanted to check in with our comments and questions. Mic check.
Mike check. Thank you for checking on me. And I will say, I do feel like I'm getting paid because this is a very important struggle. It impacts all of us, whether we like to admit it or not. The police brutality issue is a big issue that's been ongoing, and it's something that we have to fight against. And I'm glad to be here to support you while you fight against it. The first comment, Hillary says, Mike check, sending love and light to all here. AC Britt on YouTube says the crooked judges are the ones imposing the sentences and suspended sentences on white perps. Bill says, Mike check, honored to be here for West Wednesday. Can't stop, won't stop till killer cops are in cell blocks. Angela says, Mike check. Bill says, hi, Angela. Angela says, Marilyn Mosby, we want an answer. AC Britt says, whoever Fox, and that's FAUX 45, endorses, run the other way. They love crooks. AC Britt says they make it up and make it fit their false narrative. Bill says, yes, we demand an answer from Marilyn Mosby. Yes or no, will she prosecute Tyrone West killers? And we need an answer. We need answers for Angela's family, Donnell Rochester's family, and the families of all victims of police terror. AC Bridge says justice for Alton Sterling, justice for Timothy Fleming, justice for Tyrone West, justice for Benjamin Tyson, justice for Anthony Anderson. Smiley says, keep fighting for justice for Alton Sterling. Joseph says, Mayor to Wanda Jones. Bill says, exactly. The racist capitalist system is at the root of the terrible problems we face. Nelson says, Mike check. Smiley said, it's about, and quoting you, it's about the outcome. Thank you, West Wednesday Coalition, for the dedication to advocate for all victims of police terror. You are appreciated. Mike check.
Mic check. And
Mike check.
thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for all the feedback. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. So again, we're lifting Alton Sterling name up as well as all the victims of police brutality and or murder. And just to mention, if Darnell Rochester was a Caucasian person, in my opinion, he wouldn't have been executed for a so-called traffic stop by the same unit or the district that murdered my brother, Northeast Police District. And speaking of which, before we start going into these sad lists, because I apologize for last week because we started kind of talking, because I don't ever want to leave families feeling like, we just kind of like swipe. But sometimes, like, if I forget something, somebody remembers something. But I do want to, at the end of it, always leave that space for just to remember and remembrance of uplifting the victim. So I want to kind of make all my announcements now before we go, because once we hit their names and lift them up, that's going to be, the way we're going to leave it, So I apologize if we did a little bit of back and forth from last week, but all the families are important to us and everything. But again, I want to let you guys know next West Wednesday, we will be at City Hall in person at 6:30 p.m. So if you could join us. So, and I'm quite sure they're going to send some crooks out there to watch, whatever. So it is what it is. That's not going to stop us. So we will see you guys at City Hall on next West Wednesday, 6:30. And also, just if we hear any more announcements or when Darnell Rochester, and I want to give a big shout out to his family for just being boots on the ground. Don't let nobody stop you, because guess what? These attorneys, these judges, people will try to intimidate you and stop you. And what they do is the first thing they try to split us up, keep us away from each other. We need to be in this thing fighting together. One purpose, one cause, one fight. But I wanted to give Darnell's family a big shout out for constantly doing these actions every week. And God knows we don't want to do an action. We want action, meaning that we want answers and accountability. We don't want to be out in the streets talking about it, because that's open, that's scratching a wound that's under. Like, I have a wound in my heart that will never go away. Pretty much a hole in my heart that will never close. When they took my big brother, my best friend, my father figure away, so I'm, again, shout out to Darnell's Rochester. But again, I want to send a big virtual hug to our sister, Vita. So sorry that you lost your nephew, Alton Sterling. But just know that he is proud. He's very proud of you, Miss Vita, because you're always out there. Your strength is like a force to be reckoned with. Like, I love you, Sister Queen. Thank you for trusting me enough to uplift your loved one name. And again, when you get the time, I'm definitely gonna bring you on here. And I'm just praying for you, because I pray. But for anybody that don't, that's fine. Just please keep our sister in prayer. And I'm just lifting up our whole city right now and cities. I'm just lifting up everybody that's going through something right now. And it may not even be, police brutality or murder. It could be your financial situation. It could be your relationship. It could be whatever you're going through. It could be the battle with you not loving yourself or not feeling good enough. Just know that I love you. I appreciate you. And just keep on going, because every day that we wake up, and it's the truth, that is a day to hit that reset button. That's the day to me that I feel like God has given us life again to get started and do what we are here. Everybody to me has a purpose in life. Everybody brings some beautiful things, beautiful qualities, beautiful skills that nobody else has. You have it. So if you're to that point and you feel like giving up, please don't give up. Please just hold on. Please, I'm begging you, hold on, because today it might seem like the world is on top of you, but tomorrow you can easily wake up, if you're blessed, with another day to do it all over again. You could be on top of the world in a blink of an eye. In the same way that you could be on top of the world in the blink of an eye, remember that you're on top of the world, but don't forget about the people that are hurting, because that reality can kick in and you can feel like the whole world is on top of you. So just be blessed and joyful for each and every day. But unfortunately, we're going to go into the portion that I do not like, that I don't get a thrill of, just sharing with you guys. And
Excuse me, Tawanda.
yes.
I just wanted to add two more things about Alton Sterling, if that's all right.
Oh, sure. Okay, I'm glad. Thank you. And I apologize. I meant to ask. So thank you for doing that. So, yeah. So go ahead, Uncle Bill.
I was fortunate one time. I'm sorry.
No, I wanted to give you a grand introduction. So I apologize for not, asking. Then I'll ask anybody else. So as Uncle Bill shares with how his feelings about Alton Sterling and what we're talking about, ills and societies, I urge anybody after Uncle Bill speaking, please, before we go into the sad list. And I like how you did that, because now that way, and pretty much, guys, I'm just learning this thing. Like, we've been at West Wednesday for 9 years now, and you still learn something new every day. So thank you, Uncle Bill, for that. So I appreciate it. So go ahead and share whatever you want to share about, Alton Sterling and anybody else. So if Marcellus, even Benjamin, anybody else want to share something, please feel free. Mic check, and I apologize.
Mic check. So I just want to mention I was fortunate one time to meet a woman named Bella Dugas, who was one of the freedom fighters in Baton Rouge, who helped lead a number of the protests against the police killing of Alton Sterling. So I learned two things from her that I want to share. One is that the store where he was selling the CDs or the DVDs, I forget exactly which, was right across from a school. And the children at the school loved him. They would come on their lunch break and hang out with him. They had tremendous respect for him. Of course, you don't get that narrative from the police who killed him, but that was the reality. And the other thing is, you touched on it a little earlier, which is the owner of the store had such a high regard for Alton Sterling that after the cops, killed him, he had a video surveillance camera, and he had a recorder in the back room of his store where those videos were stored. And the cops were trying to get in. He locked the door, knowing the cops are going to get angry at him. He locked the door so that he could duplicate the video and have a copy unknown to the cops. So when they confiscated it, he would still have that copy, so he could help in the case trying to get accountability for Alton Sterling. So I wanted to mention those two things. And one other thing, some of us know about the case of Gary Hopkins, who was killed by police not far from here in Prince George's County in 1999. And so I want to mention 2 weeks ago would have been his 42nd birthday. He's the son of Marion Gray Hopkins, and he was murdered by two PG County cops, Devin White and Brian Catlett. It was 22 and a half years ago. And I just want to uphold him for his recent would have been birthday, or as some people say, anniversary. So that's it. Mic check.
Thank you, Bill, Uncle Bill. That was amazing. And I'm glad you shared that, because those were some real powerful points. So I appreciate that. And before we even go into any sad list, I want to check in with any of the West Coalition members to see if there's something that they want to share or add before we actually go into the sad list. Mic check.
Mike.
All right. Well, I guess the coast is clear, and thank you, Uncle Bill. That was real powerful, and kudos up and shout out up to the store owner who was that brave, that resilient to be like, you know what, I'm gonna lock this store up and I'm gonna make a duplicate copy. That was smart. So for other store owners that may be going through something, because we never know, like as we go through these days that we're going through, seeing days that we have never seen before, you could actually, this could be your storefront. And if you would do the same thing, madam, ma'am, sir, we would greatly appreciate that. Because at the end of the day, it's about integrity. Integrity. That's all it's about. Integrity and love. Treat somebody the way, it's the golden rule that I teach my students every day. Treat someone the way you would want to be treated. If you were Alton Sterling, always put yourself in that person's position. If you were the one being brutally executed, would you want somebody to just hand over stuff that could be crucial? So I appreciate him being a human being and just a resilient human being, you know, going above and beyond. So definitely shout out to that store owner. So moving right in before you, Uncle Bill, I had a question to ask you. Are you reading both of the lists, or Brother Brian reading the list as well?
I don't know about the list of community violence. I don't have it. Oh, there we go.
Okay, I see. So, Brother Brian, I wanted to check in because just out of respect for like the victims and stuff like that, is there anything that you want to share outside of, you know, any conversations you might have, you know, picked up on something that you might want to share now? This is the perfect time, and I thank Uncle Bill for giving me that green light. Like, hold up, let me go and say this before we actually go and listen. You have not had a moment to share something that you wanted to share. I wouldn't want to leave here without you sharing something. So it's your turn, Brother Brian, to share before we go into the list if you have something. Mic check.
Sure. The only thing that when you were talking earlier, you just reminded me of a thing that I heard this week, and someone said that the big project that is going on, you know, behind the scenes in this culture, is that there's one group of people who's protected by the law but not bound by it, and everybody else is bound by the law but not protected by it. And that just, you know, that just resonated so much with what you were saying, and I just thought that was a good way to just tie it all up really tight and really quick, and just have it there on your fingertips.
Absolutely, that was powerful. Thank you. Anything else you want to share before we go on to the sad list?
Nothing that I think if we can just have a moment of silence, it will be we can move on to that hard part of the night.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, again, before we go into this list, I want to give a big shout out to our sister Beta, Auntie Beta. We love you. We're praying for you. We're praying for your whole entire families. We're praying for the whole community that took a great loss of Alton Sterling. Again, I'm praying for all of the victims of police brutality families. I'm so sorry that we lost our loved ones in a cruel and vicious way. But just know that no matter what, I got y'all back. Even when y'all get too weak to where as though y'all don't want to or can't do it, I'm going to do it for y'all. I'm lifting my sister Tracy up. You know, her brother Leonard was executed. I'm going to keep on screaming her brother name. I love you, Sister Tracy. I love my sister Angela. I love all you guys. I love my sister Dina. I love all you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm lifting our sister Queen Nicole. She couldn't be here tonight. She had other obligations, but she sent her love as well. So just wanted to say that before we go into our victims' name and showing them respect and love and homage. So pretty much, we're going to pretty much take 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. If you pray, please say a prayer, because you do not want your family member to be on a list that you never, no one signs up and say, hey, could you put my family on that sad list? of community violence? Or could you put my loved one on that sad list of police terrorism? Like, no one ever signs up, to be on the list, and no one ever wants to be a victim. And right now, for every tear that someone is crying right now, it even hit my job again. My co-teacher's fiance cousin just was killed, literally going to the store. Going to the store to get a pack of cigarettes, was just killed on yesterday. Like, unreal, unreal. So again, let's please just take 2 minutes. If you pray, say the most powerful prayer that you can say. If you don't, that's fine too. Think of ways that no family will feel this type of pain, and that we can just sadden, if not get rid of both of these lists. Because to me, it's heartbreaking. But just know that these are human beings that we are about to hear. They're more than hashtags and body bags. They're more than pictures and buttons on a shirt. Their lives matter. So let's just lift them up. We're going to take 2 minutes starting now. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you guys again for tuning in. And unfortunately, I'm going to turn the floor over to our brother Brian. And again, I want to just give you a big shout out. Thank you so much, because I know if any list you would want to read, it will be something. But I just give you honor and praises just for being able to humanize and know that these are more than victims. These are our loved ones. So thank you for being so brave and bold to read our loved ones' names. Mic check.
Mic check. This is a longish list because this is back to the first of the month. So this is half a month of stolen lives here in Baltimore. And I'm going to read them out, and I would ask you to honor them by just echoing those names back to me. So Bernard Tillman, 34.
Bernard Tillman, 34.
Eric Eldridge, 32.
Eric Eldridge, 32.
Kenneth Blackstone, 29.
Kenneth
Blackstone, 29.
Andrew Smith, 29.
Andrew Smith, 29.
Ricky Crenshaw, 27.
Ricky Crenshaw, 27.
Dwayne Davis, 41.
Dwayne Davis, 41.
Denard Hunt, 31.
Denard Hunt, 31.
Tyrone Walker, 37.
Tyrone Walker, 37.
Justin Stewart, 32.
Justin Stewart,
32.
2.
Donald Demetrius White, 32.
Donald
Demetrius White, 32.
32.
Darren Barnes, 22.
Darren
Barnes, 22.
Craig Phillips Jr., 18.
Craig Phillips Jr., 18.
Brian Jones, 19.
Brian Jones, 19.
Anthony Barksdale, 63.
Anthony
Barksdale, 63.
Legacy Bell, 1.
Oof.
Legacy
Bell.
Bell.
1.
Mishach Daniel Dennis, 37.
Misach Daniel Dennis, 37.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Uncle Bill, before you read your list, I just got a message from Vita, so she might be trying to join us. So that's why I got bumped off because, and again, I apologize, guys, because I don't like to talk in between, like when we're reading the victim's name. But she was actually trying to call me through Facebook. That's what bumped me off, and I had to rejoin. So she'll probably be joining us. So we'll see. But the floor is all yours. And again, families, we love you guys. No disrespect, but I just had to let you know that the special guest did just now reach out to me. Mic check.
Mic check. If she's able to join in, you want me to stop at that point so she can speak?
No, you can finish reading your names and we can just take it from there.
Okay.
Disrespect.
Well, this evening, unfortunately, we have a very long list of people killed by police. We're covering a 2-week period from June the 1st to June the 14th. And if we don't know one of the person's names, I'll be saying Ashe. If the person hasn't been identified yet. Once again, Ashe in Yoruba means, as I understand, let it be so. And when we say that, we don't mean let the killing be so. We're very much opposed to that, of course. What we mean is let it be so that we uphold the names of these victims and we fight hard for accountability. And killer cops need to be in cell blocks. That's what we mean when we say Ashe. First person that will be upholding tonight, killed by police, was in Larimer County, Colorado, on June the 1st. Not yet identified. Ashe.
Ashe. Cell blocks for killer cops.
Second victim, also on June 1st in Hopewell, Virginia, 42 years old, Derek Avey.
Derek
Avey.
Also on June 1st in Sand City, California, a man with a toy weapon killed by police, Anthony Taylor.
Anthony Taylor.
Again on June 1st in Kent, Washington, 27 years old, Marshall Jones.
Marshall Jones.
In Los Angeles, California, on June the 2nd, 24 years old, Marvin Kua.
Marvin
Kua.
In Jordantown, Texas, on June the 2nd, 46 years old, Gonzalo Lopez.
Gonzalo Lopez.
In San Bernardino, California, again on June 2nd, 48 years old, Mike Smith.
Mike Smith.
On the Fort Apache Reservation in Arizona, killed on June the 2nd, Kevin Nashio.
Kevin Nashio.
In Lexington County, South Carolina, 19 years old, Tyler Bogues. On the 3rd of June in West New York, New Jersey, 32 years old, Kevin Colindres. Again on June the 3rd, in Memphis, Tennessee, 45 years old, Corey Brewer. By the way, he was killed in a vehicle. Many of the police stops and the majority of police interactions occur at these stops, and many of the deaths by police, as was true with Tyrone, as it is with Corey Brewer, occur as part of a traffic stop. On June the 3rd, in Lakeland, Florida, 56 years old, Michael Lohman. June the 3rd again, in Napeville, Illinois, 28 years old, Edward Saman. Okaloosa Island, Florida, a man who has not yet been identified, Ashe.
Killer cops in cell blocks.
Yes.
In San Antonio, Texas, on June the 3rd, a 13-year-old killed by police, Andre Hernandez.
Andre
Andre
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
June the 4th in Towson, Maryland. Oh my goodness. I hadn't noticed this before. 66 years old, Joseph Thompson.
Joseph
Thompson.
And we'll have to look into that. On June the 4th again in Jonesboro, Arkansas, 45 years old, Walter Joyce.
Walter
Joyce.
June the 4th in Wenatchee, Washington, 32 years old, Zachary Rutherford.
Zachary
Rutherford.
In St. Augustine, Florida, 47 years old, killed by police, Jason James.
Jason James.
We're now halfway through the horrendously long list of killings by police for this evening. On June the 5th in Presque Isle, Maine, 25 years old, Jacob Poitras.
Jacob Poitras.
In Miami-Dade County on June the 6th, 73 years old, Ernesto Battle.
Ernesto Battle.
In Columbus, Ohio, 20 years old, Paz Stiblin.
Paz
Stibler.
Let me say his name once more. Paz Stiblin.
Paz Stiblin.
Good. On June the 8th, Oconto, Wisconsin, not yet identified. It was a man, Ashe.
Ashe.
Justice for all victims.
Yes.
On June the 8th in Davenport, Iowa, 45 years old, Jason Morales.
Jason Morales.
In Gadsden, Alabama, on June the 9th, 32 years old, Robert White.
Robert
White.
Harnett County, North Carolina, on June the 9th, 40 years old, Curtis Young.
Curtis Young.
On June the 10th in Elizabethtown, Tennessee, 38 years old, Daniel Honeycutt.
Daniel Honeycutt.
On June the 11th in Mableton, Georgia, 41 years old, Cesar Pena.
Cesar Pena.
June 11th in Springfield, Utah, Jonathan Hamilton.
Jonathan Hamilton.
On June the 12th in Austin, Texas, a man who has not yet been identified, Ashe.
Ashe, cell blocks for killer cops.
In Caldwell County, North Carolina, on June the 12th, 35 years old, Jerome Connolly.
Jerome Connolly.
June the 13th in Kent, Washington, a man not yet identified, Ashe.
Ashe, cell block for killer cops.
Thank you. On June the 13th in Holly Springs, Georgia, another man not yet identified, Ashe.
Ashe, cell block for killer cops.
June the 13th in Lowndes County, Georgia, a man not yet identified, Ashe.
Ashe, cell block for killer cops.
Yes. On June the 13th in Duncanville, Texas, 42 years old, Brandon Ned.
Brandon Ned.
And the last person whose life was stolen by the police we're upholding this evening in Austin, Texas, on June the 14th, 34 years old, not yet identified, Ashe.
Ashe, cell blocks for killer cops.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Mic check.
Mic check. So again, thank you, Uncle Bill. Thank you, Brother Brian, for reading the names. But if I feel like last week I mentioned the guy that was killed out in Towson, and we said we was going to kind of look into it, but I think I did mention them. I didn't have that many details, but I was just like, it was something about it that I was really irritated about. But I definitely believe that I mentioned him. But I just wanted to check him real quick, and it could be our time, it could be off, because we're on Eastern Standard Time, and my sister's on a different time. But I want to check in real fast because I know the time is precious and it's getting late. Brother Ben, was our sister able to join us yet? Mic check.
Mike check. No, there's nobody in the waiting room except for Brian.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to just thank everybody, but I definitely know she tried to send me maybe you guys, and this is unusual, but again, I just want to show respect for the families that we just read their names of, and definitely letting you know we're here for you guys, and it's just so sad, and I'm definitely praying if there's anything that we can do for any of the victims, please just reach out to us. I just wanted to check in because again, this show was dedicated to Alton Sterling's auntie, well, for Alton Sterling, but for his auntie Vita. So if you guys would give me just 1 minute, Uncle Bill, could you possibly just talk to our friends just for like 1 minute? Because I'll even give her a call just to ask her if she want to say anything via voice, just to leave us with about her nephew. Mic check.
Sure. Sure. Um, what comes to mind, I've shared it here, but it's been a long time, is the an incident where I was involved, along with many others, as victims of police brutality. So until Twanda's back, I'll share some of that story, and perhaps if I don't finish, we'll share the rest another time. But I used to live in Pigtown, that section of Baltimore, near where the stadiums are now. And we were on a little street called Wyeth Street, and our block was about half black and half white. Everyone was very friendly and very close. On Friday nights, people would set out card tables and play dominoes and bid whist, and were in one another's houses all the time. And we used to have block parties, and Miss Nancy was someone who would always cook lots of food for all the children at the block parties. One evening, it was one of those evenings with the card tables out, two families had a little dispute, and someone called the police. The dispute probably would have faded away, and the police, as often is the case, overreacted tremendously. They come screeching into the block, little one-way street with 4 squad cars one way, 4 squad cars the other way, a rolling jail behind the first 4 cars and the same behind the next 4 cars. And they get out with their clubs drawn, and they start swinging on people. At one point, one of them hit Miss Nancy, who was really highly respected and loved. Are you ready to speak, Twanda? Oh, I can't hear you.
Yes, sorry for cutting you off.
No
Yes.
problem. I can finish another time.
Yeah, so thank you, and definitely next week when we're out at West Wednesday, I would love to hear the rest of it, but I definitely know the story. You're a soldier for that. I think they was calling you Batman for because you wound up being in the newspaper and everything. I remember that story. But yeah, so Vita pretty much sends her love, because just for time's sake, Vita sends her love. She was saying that she was unable, she was trying to all that time, download the app that we're using, and she was unsuccessful, and that's where the disconnection had lied in there. And right now, she definitely with her family. She needs to be with her family right now. So again, keep our sister Queen in prayer and thought. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And like I said, I apologize for last week because we kind of cause I never want to just leave off, because we like to dedicate that last portion just to nothing but the victims. But again, Alton Sterling was unfortunately a victim, and his auntie Vita is a survivor. And I definitely wanted, because she tried to call me to explain what was going on, but I couldn't through the broadcast talk to her live and cut you guys off. So I was kind of sending her message. That's why I kept turning my camera off. But she just asked everybody, if you pray, please say a prayer for her. She said she's so sorry that she could not join us tonight, and that's fine. We definitely have her back, and we'll always have her back, and she will be joining us as soon as her time is available again. But just remember, guys, live to love, love to live. I love you guys all. Thank you so much for your time, dedications, for your comments, questions, all that good stuff. Thank you, guys. We're in crazy times, but again, just like our brother Boom said, we all we got, we all we need. Just remember, live to love to live. I love you all. In the same way, unfortunately, when we started this, our brother Ben put on a surrogate's video Officer Killer Ruiz, the first killer to be at my brother's, to start murdering my brother. Well, there were 4 to 6 victims leading up to my brother, and it's just devastating. In there, unfortunately, it was victims after, because we found out in a damning report by the ACLU that Ruiz had over 36 other complaints. People actually took the time, and it's serious when you say, what, I don't care if the police come retaliate against me. I'm going to be bold enough, brave enough to actually turn in my information, because you got to give all your personal information, right? But they were bold enough, and thank you, bold people, for going down there filing complaints. Thank you guys so much, and I'm so sorry you went through this ticking time bomb. But unfortunately, guys, this ticking time bomb is still actively working. Marilyn Mosley is still knowing this, and she's not giving our family any answers. Marilyn Mosley, we deserve answers. We demand answers. We deserve answers. What are you going to do about Tyrone West's case? And while we got you at the table, what are you going to do about Timothy Fleming's? Benjamin Tyson, the list goes on. What are you going to do? Darnell Rochester. What are you going to do about these hurting victim families? We deserve answers. We will see you guys at City Hall at 6:30 next West Wednesday. Again, I love you guys all. Please continue to watch this video that we show you every week, because it may be something that you might see that you didn't even pay attention to the last time. So if you can, remember on YouTube, share, like, and subscribe. Hit that like button, because we need all the likes. Unfortunately, I know you guys, like, police brutality is something that you're not going to like. But like the fact that we are trying to do this. This is something that we're doing and putting out there for you. Our brother Ben takes the time every week. Our sister Rachel fills in for us. Like, we are here for you guys. So all we ask you to do is hit the like button and share to many people as you can. Thank you guys so much. And for your time's sake, just go on Brother Ben and play the video. See you guys next week at City Hall. Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges, like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam, and my sister Adina and her family. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.